I spent my last semester of university in China. Before I went there, I had already bought the flight back to go to Italy once I was done with my semester, but things changed. One day in April, Rivas knocked on my door, didn't wait for my response, and just rushed inside my room with a copybook and some sentences written down and said, "We're going to Japan, and you're coming with us." So I changed my flight, and we flew to Japan.
You got me suicidal, suicidal innocent. Oh, rub them off. Beautiful girls.
I gotta say, the first few hours in Japan were not the easiest. Our flight departed from China at 2 a.m. in the morning and we landed in Tokyo 3 hours later. I believe we had 2 to 3 big luggages each. Driving them around the city wasn't the best.
Change places? I don't know.
We managed to arrive at the apartment that we booked, and right away I started wandering around all the tiny narrow streets. I even stopped at a restaurant to grab a bite. I gotta admit, after Italian food, which is number 1 on my list, Japan ranks second place for best food in the world. Top notch. I kept on walking until I arrived at the Meiji Jingu. I tried to follow some of the Japanese rituals. I wrote down my notes for my future wishes.
Ho 20.
And overall, I just walked around the park in complete awe of the nature and the temples and the buildings. This otori, which is a shrine, a gate, is the biggest in Japan, made out of Japanese cypress wood, and it's 1,500 years old. Once out of the park, I proceeded toward Takeshita Street, and I remember having a moment of realization. I could understand almost everything that the people around me were saying in either English, Spanish, or Italian, and I hadn't had that feeling for 5 months, and everything was just so much easier. I really felt like I just popped out of the bubble I was in while living in China that I really loved, because even though China is super modern, it kind of seems like going back in time in a way. It's very traditional, it's very authentic, more so than I had ever experienced before in another country in the world. Yeah, it was weird. As soon as it got dark, I ended up in this sort of design neighborhood that should be called Harajuku, that was extremely quiet and clean and cool. This is where the girls joined me at the Shibuya crossing. It's said to be the world's busiest pedestrian crossing, with around 2,500 people crossing at the same time. And if you just go around the corner, there's a dining area which looks magical, and the food is so good. I have no idea what we ate that night. I just know that it was really pleasing in the way they were cooking the food in front of us, and that it was absolutely delicious. Before heading home, we stopped at the church, which we didn't even know existed. We just bumped into it by chance, and it was really fun.
Sorry?
1 drink per person, I says there.
We started the day with some ramen from a tiny little place in a neighborhood that seemed deserted,
5 pesos.
until we found a long queue of people under the rain.
Cash only, I assume.
And that's when we knew the place was there and we had found it. I gotta say, it was indeed worth the wait and very authentic. We explored the area of Akihabara, which is the neighborhood of anime, manga, electronics, and idol culture. After some wandering around, we decided to stop at a maid cafe, which is basically a cafe where the waitresses are dressed up in maid costumes and act in a very cute way. They were making all these tiny gestures with their hand and presenting the menu. They were singing on the stage and doing all these cute dances. It was a particular experience, I would say. It kind of felt really unnatural, and it just didn't really feel grounded in reality, if that makes any sense.
Mi umbrella. No? Let me check it.
No. I'm just gonna take a bite of yours.
YouTuber Federica.
I bought some natto at a supermarket, which is basically fermented soybeans. And it's a traditional Japanese plate, and the smell is not the best. But the taste was okay, not our favorite.
When you got beans and you leave them in the fridge for like a week, they tasted like that.
The following morning, I woke up and explored Ginza and the Amarikyu Gardens. And then I had one of the best experiences of the whole trip, I think. The Tsujiki Outer Market. It was full of food everywhere, so fresh and so tasty. And it was just full of people that were screaming, talking, just hanging out everywhere at the same time.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Also, I'm not a matcha lover, but I was in Japan, so I had to try it out, and it tasted nothing like the one I had at home in Italy, and it was so good. Then it was time for the sumo show. We got served some traditional Japanese food, and then it was time for the fighters to fight. They explained to us the rules, showed us a couple of matches. And then they asked if anyone wanted to join without precisely explaining what they would join. But of course, Via stood up, and I saw her again after a few minutes like this. It was then her time to fight.
If it's bad fortune coming out, you just nod it there to make the bad fortune go away. You go first.
I'll pray for my wish. Wait, my wish right now. 70.
3, 6. Here. What does it say? No!
The person you wait for will not come over.
Tie it.
Japanese people origami. I put it down. If I just leave it like this, it's good.
I guess so. Oh wait, I don't know what the wish.
Federica, we don't have the dire day.
36. 36.
Alright, good luck, good luck, good luck. Bad fuck! The lowest.
That's even worse than yours.
Read it for
You
us.
may get a deficit at first, but can get the profit at last.
Okay.
Just like the moon decayed at first, but right by night it grows bigger and becomes a full moon at last. You have to wait, but in the end it's gonna be fine. The person you wait for will
The
come,
same-
but late. Daniel.
Daniele takes his kayak, gone.
Marriage and employment are both bad.
Bye, bad fortune. Bye. Beautiful. Adios.
In the morning, I stopped at Jimbocho, which is the neighborhood of books and libraries. And I just love stopping in libraries and just wandering around and look at the books, read some pages out of them. And having a whole neighborhood just for that was so nice. I stopped for some katsu curry and then joined the girls at the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building observation deck, which grants you a view of the city from above for free. And then the night was just dedicated to playing games.
And then we brew. Kukurizan! Girl. I was excited for this show. Me grabo.
And the second one, this.
Crazy. You go alien. You go full.
We then left for Fujikawa Buchiko. It can also be done as a day trip, but we decided to stop there for a night because, well, first of all, you have more chances to see Mount Fuji with good weather, even though we were lucky enough to see it right away when we arrived. And also, Fujikawa Buchiko is known for the onsen, which is a sort of a spa, but in a traditional Japanese style. You can't wear any clothes or have tattoos to enter unless you rent a private one. So if you have any, sometimes they accept it if it's covered up with tape. And took a bus and just got lost in Japanese countryside. But eventually found our way back and were able to go to the onsen.
Are you gonna make? Be prepared. Two videos of Federica Baña.
Vagina YouTuber, vagina YouTuber.
We started the day with a slow morning in Fujikawa Buchiko and ate tempura for lunch. And we then took a train to our next destination, Kyoto. We checked into our hotel and went out for the night. On our first full day in Kyoto, we just wandered around the city, from the Arashiyama bamboo forest to Gion.
I'm happy. I'm so happy.
I don't know how it works, but I'm just gonna eat and figure it out later. The smell is crazy. Beatriz.
Oh, loca.
Pejito.
Bueno.
Squid.
Rivas really wanted to go see the Evangelion statue at the Toei Kyoto Studio Park. On our way back, a woman stopped us on the street because she just wanted to tell us in Japanese that we were kawaii, which was super cute. We ate some good food and then headed towards the Arashiyama Monkey Park, where Bea could finally see the monkeys. Also, the view of the city from above the hill is stunning. And then we visited probably the #1 attraction in Kyoto, the Fushinari Geisha.
You come back.
I was scared it would be too crowded, but after all, it was not that bad at all. We even had moments in which we could just be by ourselves without other people around and take some nice pictures. For dinner, we treated ourselves with, I don't even know how many courses of Wagyu meat. We took a day trip to Nara, which is famous for hosting a large quantity of deers that just walk around the parks freely.
I don't speak Japanese.
Konnichiwa.
Hola.
Ay, ta 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 ta.
After morning wandering around the Hokanji temple, already feeling the nostalgia, we headed towards the train station. And it was a mess. It was full of people because they were experiencing an electricity shortage, so not all the trains were guaranteed. And Bea had to catch hers to go back to Tokyo because she would have to catch a flight the following morning to start her solo traveling in Singapore and South Korea. So we had to say our goodbyes really quickly because she had to jump on the first train that arrived, and by the time we realized, she was already gone. Rivas and I managed to hop on a train and make our way to Osaka, our final destination of the trip. Osaka is beautiful, even more than I thought it would be. At night, it's just full of lights and colors and people, and I really loved walking around the streets. They were all packed with people eating, laughing, talking, and with their noses pointed to all the big skyscrapers.
It's hot?
Yes.
You grab it? No, you bite it, you bite it. Beautiful.
We ended our night in our hotel room, almost finishing the typical Japanese fluffy cake. We only had one morning to spend in Osaka. The sun was up and shining, and I really wanted to see as much as I possibly could in the little time we had left. We had to go to the Osaka Castle, which today is a museum. The park around it is way bigger than we thought it would be, and we later realized that there was not as much time left for us to go back to the hotel in time, grab our luggages, and head to the airport. So we just ran up the stairs to the last floor to have the view of the park and the city from above, and then run back to the hotel to get everything and go to the airport. And our taxi driver left us at the wrong spot, so we had to carry all our heavy luggages.
Where am I from?
And then at the airport desk, we had to repack everything because we had packed too much. But we finally managed to book our plane to Beijing, where we had a 6-hour delay that soon became 8 hours. And then we finally landed in Milano Malpensa. Thinking about it, I get emotional still because as much as I enjoyed my time in China, that I absolutely loved, the feeling of waiting to see my family and friends and then to see them at the airport, I don't know, just fills me with emotion because I've missed them so much, and I'm just so grateful for all the people that I have in Italy.
Fede, raccontaci, dacci l'impressione.
And Rivas was with me, which was super nice. because I got to show her the Italian version of me in a way, and I was so excited for her to meet the people that had made me.
Esto es.
I took her around, we made her Italian food, she made us Mexican aguachile, which was...
Do I put it everywhere or?
Yeah, everywhere.
And then Sofia came and she just took her around the country. They went visiting Giulia in Tuscany and then went off to Rome. It really felt like the perfect end of the circle for all of us. And we're all meeting together soon, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. So this concludes my time spent studying in China. I just want to say thank you again to all the people that made it come to life and made it what it was, because it was just such a nice experience. I really wanted to make these videos to be able to look back at them and relieve some of the emotions that I was feeling there. So yeah, I was really looking forward to it for the longest time, and now that I am done with my studies, I'm really, really grateful for having had the chance to experience that. So thank you for accompanying me down the memory trail to what is now 1 year ago. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.